Hi, welcome back, or nice to meet you. It's Kaz, or Leah, and I'm back with another video. This quickly, I know. Only took, 2 weeks? 3 weeks? I can't remember. But anyways, today I'm going to be talking about my preparations for ArtFight, which at the time I'm recording this is 1 week from now. I must say I am very excited for this year, especially with the introduction of 3 teams. But hold up, some of you may not even know what ArtFight is, so let me give you a little rundown. As per usual, if you already know what I'm talking about, you can just skip to this timestamp. But for those who don't know, ArtFight is an online trading game, specifically an art trading game, where 2 or this year 3 teams can compete against each other with using art, whether it be digital, traditional, or even animation, and give each other art based around each other's OCs. This event is usually held during July, all through July. Not just 1 week, not even just 1 day, but the whole month. And whichever team wins gets bragging rights. Simple, but cute. This is a yearly tradition that's been going on since I think roughly around 2016 or 2018. I can't quite remember, but it's been going on for a while. And for such a reason, I believe why this year is so special is because it is the 10-year anniversary. As excited as I am, I must say the stakes are definitely higher. With it being more than just 2 teams, there's more people joining this year, and a lot more big faces joining this year as well. Some of your favorite artists, even. So, definitely the pressure is on. Especially when it comes to trying to make reference sheets. That is what today's focus is, actually. So, how about let's get to it? If I'm going to be fully transparent, I only just finished these reference sheets maybe 1 or 2 days ago. Now, this is mainly due to me wanting to wait for the theme to be released instead of just having it done prior. And this is also because I like to base my characters around the theme, which, if you must know, I chose Team Comedy. Now, I did almost choose Team Mystery, but due to some pretty good convincing from one of my close friends, I ended up choosing Team Comedy, which I do believe fits me pretty well. But I've talked way too much about the bases and themes and stuff, not enough about my OCs, so let's get to that, huh? Anyways, she works as an assassin, which is something you will notice is pretty common with all of these characters. That is because they are a part of a story that I'm working on where they are, assassins. To give a little context, this story centers around 4 rings of, assassins. Or, in simplest terms, 4, companies of assassins? Think like law firms, but with assassins, if that makes sense. 1 ring focuses on revenge, another one focuses on power, another one focuses on chaos, and another one focuses on greed. Pi, or her real name, Piper, is from the Chaos Ring. Now, the rest of the characters are from the Greed Ring. Remember this, it's sort of kind of important, I guess. She works as an assassin. She is sort of the sidekick of Dai, who is the leader of the Chaos Ring. And generally speaking, she is known to be rather kind but cruel at the same time. She picks and chooses, you could say. She has a heart for some, but is ruthless with most. That some being children or the elderly, which is in stark contrast to her boss. For her boss, he spares no one. He's heartless to the bone and could care less about what is the cost of it. Next up is Kai, who I would say is a personal favorite of mine. He is an assassin who is from the Greed Ring, which, as I said earlier, the rest of the characters included in this video and on my ArtFight are from the Greed Ring. This is mainly because the Greed Ring is the ring that has the most development and that I've wrote the most for and that I have a clear idea for, at least majority of. Also because it includes some of my favorite characters I've made, Kai being one of them, as well as Andrea, who we'll get to. She's actually the next character I'm going to be working on. If I were to describe his character, I would say he has a good heart, but due to his profession and, trauma, he doesn't really get to, exercise that kindness that he has. I would say he is definitely a lot more quiet than Andrea, for example. Andrea is very outgoing and talks a lot, whereas he's more of a, you know, get it done with, there's no need to chat, just get it over with type of guy. You know, very Aaron Burr of him, you know, talk less, smile more, you know, type of guy. Not really, but you know, honestly, you could see more about his character and a little bit of like his backstory, barely. I will admit it's kind of bone dry, but you know, just a little bit more info about him on my ArtFight page, you know, shameless plugging, I know. But yeah, being able to fully digitalize his design was a lot of fun. Next up, we have Adriana. I would say overall, out of all the characters in my roster for ArtFight this year, Adriana is probably my favorite personality-wise, since she just has such a lively and, you know, just outgoing personality, despite how hard her childhood was. Wow, I know, bubbly character having a very tragic past. Wow, so original, I know, please. But anyways, out of everybody in this cast, she is a bit more unique, you could say. Everyone else on my roster is currently an assassin, whereas she is an ex-assassin. This is due to her rebelling against her boss due to, let's just say, an interesting experience with him, and causing her to leave with a fellow co-star, I guess you could say, and going on a journey of her own, which eventually this co-star gets, well, killed, which causes her to need to bump into Kai again for a mission of her own to avenge said co-star. Speaking of these two, back when she was an assassin and they both worked in the circus together, they used to be really close friends, like really close friends. But after she had left the circus, they fell apart, obviously, due to not seeing each other in years. So let's just say when they met again after so long, specifically 5 years, let's just say things were definitely different. Now, to switch gears and talk about her design, I love her design. I must say, I am quite proud of myself on how I handled the colors. Now, I know to the actual professional character designer eye, it's probably amateur at best, but personally, as a non-professional, I think I did a pretty good job. Now, can my anatomy use a little work? Of course, but you know, in due time. Yeah, but Adriana is definitely one of my favorites, and I had a lot of fun with her. Now, for our second to last character, Cece. Now, I think her design is very, 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 very cute, but I will admit it is a little revealing. That I did not notice until I actually colored her design, where I had noticed, whoa, this is a lot happening, but you know, it should be okay. Cece is a performer and, well, assassin, but the difference between her and the others is because she only goes on missions when she really has to. Aside from that, she works as a side act for two musicians named Michelle and Sebastian. They are siblings. I'll probably edit in a photo of them, but you know, they're not on my ArtFight roster, but they were close to being on there. Overall, if I were to describe her personality, she's rather aloof and kind of not quiet, but standoffish and aloof and sort of stubborn. She's definitely the type of person that's like, don't bother me unless it's important type of, you know, which is rather ironic since when she's on stage, she's a lot more playful, even optimistic in a way. You know, definitely the type of don't meet your heroes type of, since she's completely different off stage and on stage. Her best friend, who is next and will be our final character, and the last character on my roster, is Navier. Navier is a character that I say is one of my more unique looking characters. I mean, honestly, when it comes to me and character design, I don't usually lean for monotone colors. I usually always have a pop of color. So this is definitely out of my comfort zone, you could say. But as I said, he is best friends with Cece. They've known each other since they could remember. Honestly, similar to Cece, he only really goes on missions when he has to. Despite his lack of missions, he is known as the best of the best when it comes to stealth and intellect when it comes from the greed ring. So much so that other parties that oppose the Greed Ring are afraid of him. Whenever he is putting on a show for those within the Greed Ring, he often plays that of a mime character. I mean, if it's not obvious. Whenever he's performing, it's similar to like a Charlie Chaplin type of act, you know? So much so, whenever he's out of character, or specifically out of makeup, he looks entirely unrecognizable. This he uses to his advantage, since whenever he is doing spy work, it makes it a lot more difficult for people to track him down. Aside from his intellect and his stealth, weapon-wise, he uses a spear. Honestly, if any of the characters that I have on my roster were to intrigue me the most, I would probably say it's him. Honestly, due to his design, I'm pretty sure if any of my characters are gonna get drawn, I'm sure it's gonna definitely be him. And this goes for all of my characters. Genuinely, I'm really excited to see everybody's takes on them. I mean, this year alone, I've gotten so many followers on ArtFight. It's kind of surreal, honestly. But overall, I'm really excited. But I've talked enough. Let's segue into the outro. Okay, and that's a wrap for today. Overall, I had fun making this video. Now, it did take me a while to make, and this recording and editing has taken me roughly about a week to do. If you couldn't already tell, I'm basically making these videos off of the top of my head with a little bit of a script, so sorry if some things come off as awkward. Look, all I got is CapCut in a dream, so please bear with me. And sorry for the poor mic quality. All I have is my phone speaker. I'm so sorry. But I mean, we all gotta start from somewhere, right? Personal yap fest aside, overall this video was fun to make, and I can't wait to make some more. And overall, ArtFight, really excited as I'm finishing recording this finally. It is 4 days until ArtFight, so I'm really excited and can't wait to see you all there. Until next time, this is Kaz, signing off.